Hello, everyone, and welcome to July 21st, regular town council meeting of the town of Vegreville. I call this meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Okay, first off, I'll look for a motion to adopt the agenda. Councilor Curtis makes the motion. Any additions or deletions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Next up, adoption of the minutes of our last regular council meeting. Councilor Warwa makes the motion. Any errors or omissions within the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. First up, we have a piece of correspondence. Go ahead, CAO Link.
All right, thank you, Your Worship. This is correspondence from Deputy Commissioner Trevor DeRue, Commanding Officer of the Alberta RCMP, and it reads, Dear Mayor McPhee, I am writing to introduce myself as the new Commanding Officer of the Alberta Royal Canadian Mounted Police. It's an inevitable honor to step into this role and lead a police service with such an extensive history of service to the communities and citizens of Alberta. People are at the heart of everything we do. That includes the dedicated employees on the front lines and behind the scenes, the citizens we serve, and the communities and governments that we proudly partner with. None of our work is possible without the commitment, support, and collaboration of people. With 37 years of policing experience, much of it in Alberta, I have seen firsthand how people working together can shape strong communities. I have witnessed the remarkable impact that this committed partnership can have, not only during moments of crisis, but in the everyday interactions that build trust and strengthen public confidence. Trust is not something that is a given, it is earned day in and day out. My leadership is grounded in public trust, transparency, accountability, and meaningful results. These principles will guide how we serve you and the citizens you represent. I firmly believe that our success is rooted in the strength of our relationships with communities that we serve and the partners that we stand beside. That is why I am committed to fostering strong, open, and meaningful connections with you, listening actively, and ensuring our work reflects the needs and values of your community. While I am proud of the high-quality policing services the Alberta RCMP delivers, I also recognize that there's always room to evolve. We are embracing innovation and leveraging technology to enhance effectiveness. You can see through initiatives like the Real-Time Operating Center and the Remotely Piloted Aircraft System program that the Alberta RCMP is embracing innovation and applying technology in ways that enhance how we serve, protect, and connect with the public. One of the most pressing challenges we face today is staffing. Recruitment continues to be a top priority, but is only part of the solution. Retention is equally critical. We are actively exploring new strategies to attract and retain dedicated employees who see the Alberta RCMP as not only a great place to work, but a place to grow, lead, and make a difference. We have an exciting path ahead. While challenges exist, so too do opportunities to modernize, to collaborate, and to build an even stronger, more community-focused provincial police service. Thank you for your ongoing partnership and support. I look forward to working alongside each of you to build safer communities and ensure they remain the best place to live, work, and raise our families. Yours truly, Trevor DeRue, Deputy Commissioner, Commanding Officer, Alberta RCMP.
Okay, thank you very much. Take a motion to receive and file on this letter. Councillor Bullock makes the motion. Any comments? Well, I'm looking forward to starting relationship with Trevor and his team. Over the last few years, we've built a solid relationship with K Division, and so I'd like to reach out, if we could, with the contacts that we already have in K Division, and see if we can schedule something. I know that he's new to the role, and I would like to, set up a time that we could either go there or they could come here and we could meet and talk about what the policing looks like in the future here for our community, and some of the challenges that we've seen in the past and how we've worked together with them to get through some of them. So, okay, any other comments? Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Next up, We have some business from FCSS. Who's taking this one? You are? Okay, go ahead.
All right, thank you, Your Worship. This request for council decision is proposed by Julie Godslag, FCSS Manager, on behalf of the Vegreville and District FCSS Advisory Board. So this proposal is to collaborative roundtable aimed at improving access to services by Vegreville residents who require crisis services. Background on this is on July 24th, 2024, Vegreville and District FCSS, Vegreville RCMP, and the RCMP Community Safety and Wellbeing Branch met to discuss how both FCSS and RCMP are not equipped to manage mental health crises, yet these situations fall upon us, but with minimal assistance from government departments funded for mental health and addiction crisis. From this meeting, the action taken was to conduct an RCMP Community Safety and Wellbeing Branch initiated an environmental scan project which entailed consultation with various stakeholders. By November 15, 2024, the RCMP Community Safety and Wellbeing Branch completed the environmental scan and a full report was available. One of the recommendations included establishing a working group for development of a standardized crisis response system. On March 7, 2025, FCSS hosted a successful joint planning meeting with agency stakeholders to initiate the development of a collaborative roundtable aimed at addressing access to services by Vegreville residents who require crisis services for circumstances such as mental health, addictions, domestic or family violence, sudden loss of housing, and immediate risk to self or others. Recognizing that crisis response spans multiple provincial ministries, agencies, and non-for-profit and for-profit organizations, each with unique mandates and constraints, the FCSS Advisory Board has recommended the use of FCSS budget funds to hire a neutral professional facilitator. This approach is to ensure the inclusive dialogue, shared ownership, and actionable outcomes that have solutions to local service gaps. Additionally, no partner has the internal capacity to prepare the kind of comprehensive report, advocacy tool, or actionable crisis response plan that this workshop requires. The initiative reflects several priorities from the FCSS strategic plan, including later stage prevention support, facilitating dialogue on complex cross-sector social challenges, community social capital and collective action, enhancing coordination among service providers, and information and referral, and education and awareness, improving navigation of and access to services. The objectives, the roundtable sessions are designed to achieve the following outcomes. Shared definitions, establish shared definitions of crisis, vulnerable, urgent, and non-urgent service levels, identify gaps, agree on the gaps in current services and move past surface level issues to examine the root causes of the challenges we are facing in Vegreville and area, improve coordination and collaboration, reduce silos, improve communication, and foster partnerships between ministries, agencies, and local nonprofit partners, develop a roadmap to improve directed and self-directed access to services through an integrated community crisis response system, and ensure alignment between immediate supports and long-term strategies for individuals and families in crisis. So the financial implications, the advisory board recommends using FCSS community development budget funds to hire a professional facilitator. A quote from BASA Social Innovations includes the following options. The basic package, $2,000, is the facilitation and key discussion notes. Comprehensive package, $3,500, environmental scan, facilitation, and full report. Or the full service package, which is $5,000, stakeholder consultations, facilitation, report, and implementation roadmap. Communication strategy. To proceed with planning, FCSS respectfully requests that a formal letter from the Mayor's office be issued to confirm Council's decision regarding use of FCSS budget funds to hire a neutral professional facilitator with the approved facilitation package selection, and confirm if Council will be sending a representative to participate in the upcoming roundtable. This letter will serve as a foundational communications tool, reinforcing a unified, proactive approach to addressing crisis response in the region. So the recommendation before council is that town council approve the FCSS advisory board recommendation to use FCSS funds to hire a facilitator for the collaborative roundtable aimed at improving access to services by Vegreville residents who require crisis services.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I'd like to see if anybody would like to make a motion for the recommendation. Councillor Bullock makes the motion. Okay, any discussion?
Sure.
Okay, we'll start. No, we'll,
First.
No, you
Okay.
go first, go ahead.
Well, we are receiving a different one than we had seen before. So this is asking basically to be able to use existing budget. So I'm prepared to be okay with the use of existing budget, but I do think I still want to stress that there needs to be a strong remembering of what they're creating here that is indicated is the advocacy tool. Because we can come up with this, but we don't have authority to declare a roadmap. So that's the only concern that I have in there is it talks a little bit about roadmaps. I agree, somebody needs to figure out where the gaps are, put forward some, what the definitions are, and I definitely think that can then be taken as an advocacy step, as long as we're recognizing through this and through the partners that in no way are we going to be able to direct that things have to go in this way, because we don't have that authority. This is a provincial matter. The province should actually be doing this in its entirety. We shouldn't be involved in it in any way, really, but I recognize that sometimes we have to step in where things aren't being done at another level. So I'm okay with it based upon the fact that they're looking to spend existing, but I just want us to really strongly spread as we meet with them, if this goes ahead, that it is going to give us the advocacy piece, because we wouldn't have the authority to do anything else.
okay, thank you. Councillor Bullock.
I agree with Councillor Roarwa, and also that the interesting thing, we talk about crisis, and everyone's definition of crisis is different. We've tasked FCSS to come up with a solution for us, who to talk to, who's that person we need to talk to, we can go to. Doesn't seem like anyone's jumping to the post saying I'm the one to talk to, so we have to find out who that person is or the roadmap to get there. Like Councillor Curtis would point out, say like a chart going, what do you do when you get this? What do you do when you get that at different points of crisis? So they've been working, trying to get this together. I'm definitely fully in support of moving ahead with this, because I think we're pretty close. I know when we had the meeting over here with Lindsay from the hospital, she gave out some things, and I read some of the things that she said here about on-call service and stuff like that. But even still, the other departments don't know about this, and just getting there to that point to get them to talk. So yes, I'm fully in support of this, moving ahead. I think we're close at this point, and maybe we'll actually get an answer and have something we can actually use. So I think it's very important we move ahead with this.
So in your motion for the recommendation, option 1, 2, or 3, and how do you feel about having a council member on it? So we should define your motion first.
My motion will be for 3, and I will offer myself to go to those meetings.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments? Councillor Curtis.
Since Councillor Bullock and I are both on the FCSS board, I'll put myself as a backup if you can't make it.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the work that FCSS has put into this, and I don't know if citizens in our community understand that we can't be expecting the RCMP to be full-blown mental professionals and to be put them in roles that they're not trained for, nor can everybody expect FCSS to be the stop-all for everything. Like Councillor Wawa says, there is a responsibility of the province to pick up all of this. But how do we get there? Who in our community, these silos are all working out of, how do we bring them all together and build this roadmap so when somebody has a problem, here's the go-to. We know that we've been told that RPAC out of St. Paul was supposed to be dealing with this. I don't think that it's been staffed for almost 3 years in any of those positions. We look at the hospital and the services they provide, and you know they do a lot, but they can't be the one-stop group for this neither. And there is other nonprofits that can be brought into this. So myself, I'm in favor of this, and then we now have the roadmap. We can stand back and not involved all of the services that the town can bring to bear. And the RCMP are not the last ones holding the bag on all these issues when they're not trained for it. Councillor Barry.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I agree with it as well. In my mind, I look at implementation or the roadmap as being a flow chart. More, as these crises and such happen, where do you flow to get the answers and the help that's required? I agree with the aspect of they can't really start saying how it's going to occur because it's not our authority. But they can, even if it's a flow chart where they may have to say, you have to go to the province on this. But within town, I think that it's really important to know what services are here and how people can access them. So I support this.
Okay, so the motion is for the $5,000 full-service package. The motion also includes that there will be a representation from council, and Councillor Bullock has put his name forward, and Councillor Curtis will be the alternate. All those in favor? Carry. Thank you. Next up, Park and Recs Facility Manager. Manager Kuzmic.
Oh, thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Council. So before you is a request for council decision to purchase an unbudgeted item, the Schultes mower, proposed by myself. The background on that is the town currently operates a Highland mower, which requires numerous repairs in recent years. To date, the total is $22,844.18. That's been spent on repairs. The mower is now of need of new gearboxes, 4 to be exact. The estimated cost is $56,984.11, which brings the total cost of maintaining this unit, if we were to replace the gearboxes, to nearly $80,000, significantly exceeding the cost of purchasing a new mower, which is currently quoted at $45,000. Financial implications, this is a little bit wrong, so would have to come out of our current equipment reserve of $45,000. Administration recommends to Town Council to approve the unbudgeted purchase of the new Schulte mower for approximately $45,000 to be funded from the equipment reserve.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll need a motion for the recommendation. Councillor Curtis makes the motion. Do you have any comments?
Just have a question.
Go ahead, Councillor Warwick.
And I apologize, I didn't ask this the other day, but the new mower, is it equivalent in size and capability with the one it's replacing?
Yes, it's exactly the same, just the year 2024 instead of 1995.
Councillor Barrett.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I can support this. I think that the mower that is currently there, that is no longer serviceable, has served us well because of its age. And I can't see us putting a major repair into it when we could end up with a new mower for a lot less. And just watching the grass being cut around, certainly there's areas where the equipment that we currently have, it's just not appropriate to be trying to cut areas that this mower should cut. So I can see us moving forward to it and getting it out there so that they can continue keeping the town looking great.
Well, a lot of the mowing is places that people never see, berms and at the lagoons and landfill and.
That's true,
Yeah.
but if we tried to take the other mowers
there's-
out there, we'd be wrecking them and they wouldn't be available
Yeah.
to keep the in-town areas good.
I get your point. So, Director Saskew,
Yes, Your Worship.
how is our equipment reserve right now?
We have approximately $300,000 available in uncommitted funds in the reserve. I'll get you an exact number in 248,598. So 250,000. Sorry, I was a little over. So we have 250,000 in unrestricted equipment reserve right now. The remaining balance of 605,000 is for the compactor, crawler, loader, and the triple deck mower, which was used for the lease of the triple decks, or not triple decks, of the other ones this year. The triple deck mowers. Okay, yeah.
Okay, well, this doesn't look good for Manager Kuzmic for next year's budget, that's for sure, with that reserve being depleted. Does that reserve have a bottom where it needs to be?
Minimum is 500,000.
Ooh, not good.
But there will be transfers in 2025 for the crawler loader and the compactor, as those are annual transfers to reserve. And I'm looking at my 2024 one, as I haven't rolled it forward for the reserve transfers yet this year.
Okay.
So there will be more.
Okay, so all in favor of the recommendation? Carried. Manager Kuzmic, I would probably not, you have no reason to show up next year's budget meetings.
Yes. Thank you.
We'll cancel.
Oh, go ahead. I got one more comment here.
Well, I guess I would say it's maybe just an overall comment, not necessarily on this piece of equipment, but I think sometimes, you know, as we are prepping machinery or talking about machinery, it's easy to sometimes talk about the bigger units, but I think we have to remember the fact that sometimes, sadly, because some of the things underground are way more important in the scheme of actual life, but it's not what the general public notices. The general public notices what's mowed and what's not mowed. And I would like to see a bit of a emphasis or priority put forward towards the maintenance, the repair, the looking at that equipment, because I sometimes feel like it should be all treated like gold over the winter and prepared, and I don't think it is sometimes. And going forward, I think that we need to stop prioritizing other departments over this one, because quite frankly, the sad reality is we hear about this department more. It's what the people see, and it's what tourism kicks off with. We're judged pretty hard on how we can mow, so that's just a little side note that I hope there's a high priority somewhat put on these base equipment, because you guys are gonna be more efficient in being able to get it done with the right stuff, so that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, I am showing up to next year's budget.
I hope that we're not talking the legislative budget
I wasn't
taking a
actually talking
hit.
about you getting money though.
Okay. Thank you very much, Manager Kuzmic, and again, next up, Manager Newton.
Thank you, Your Worship. Today's topic is the unbudgeted repair of the Engine 2 pump. On July 15th, the Legislative Services meeting, administration informed council of a repair needed for Engine 2's pump. The vehicle is currently out of service at Rocky Mountain, Phoenix, and Red Deer, and a quote was provided for one of their certified technicians. Our financial implications is the cost of repairs for Engine 2 is $13,058.25, which is an unbudgeted expense as equipment and machine parts have been fully expended as of today's date. There is currently $13,105 in the unrestricted fire reserve. The communication strategy today, if the process is approved, the fire chief and the fleet manager will be informed of council decision and we'll get that fixed. The recommendation before you is that town council approves the expenditure of $13,058.25 funded by the unrestricted fire reserve funds.
Okay, thank you very much. Need a motion for the recommendation. Councillor Lemko makes the motion. Go ahead, Councillor Bullock.
Question, will there be any other improvements on the equipment around the pump while they're redoing the pump? Is there anything additional that was required to do there?
No, Councillor Bullock, but they will look into it to make sure that everything is put together properly and everything is serviced properly before coming back to us.
Okay, let's just go back to the mower. I know that we have priced out a lot of mowers to get to the point that we're at. Is it the fire department's only service provider is Phoenix? Do we shop around?
They've been our service provider for a number of years. They're familiar with our equipment, and they recently serviced it prior to it being broken. So they're very familiar with our apparatus, and that's where we go on a regular basis. They're our, I wouldn't say contract provider, but they are our current provider right now.
Again, so it's not standard practice to get a couple of prices.
Not in this case. They are our service provider, and we've used them in the past and on a regular basis. They're familiar with all our engines.
Again, this is a pump. and this is the problem that we have, is that pumps are rebuilt everywhere. And again, you say that they are certified for fire apparatuses. And again, there's probably other people that are as well. And again, like, is it not worth the due diligence at times to check for other cost savings as we move forward with this?
We would have to take that engine to different locations as well to make sure that they have the certified technicians to do that. They can't, in most cases, they would have to pull it apart to take a look at it, so they wouldn't be able to come here to take a look at it, to find out what the issue was, and then do that quote for us.
So, as we move forward, we're not willing to look at costing out from other providers on our equipment repairs for the fire department.
It's something we could definitely look at, Your Worship, and find out who is available. But again, it would be harder for them to come out to do that quote without pulling everything apart first and determining what the issues are.
So you took it there to have it certified?
To have it checked to find out what the issue was. For certification, they have come to our location to do the pump testing, but we knew it was broken. We had to get it checked, and they were our service provider of the day.
Okay. Okay, well, this is something that we can look at policy-wise moving forward. I think the fire department falls under fleet, does it not? The equipment?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so typically, we do look at different facilities that could fix our equipment.
Yes, we do.
So this is something that we'll bring up with fleet about, well, you only have one person because it's a pump. And, you know, like, moving forward, it's a pump. And when you're only getting one price, we don't know exactly that this is a fair price.
We do have to have that certified technician to have the stamp on it at the end of the day, which they are qualified to do so.
And I'm sure there's more. I'm sure there's some in Edmonton, and I can almost guarantee you there is. As a matter of fact, if you want, I'll find out. And then I can bring that information back and give it to Fleet.
I'm sure Fleet has a listing of accredited or certified.
And again, it just, we need to do things that make sense. And if you just took your vehicle to the same person every time and never questioned, you don't know if you're being charged too much or not. So that's what I'm saying. And again, there must be some sort of policy that we just don't take to one provider without getting prices. That's all I'm saying. Councillor Barry.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I have a couple of questions as well. Just the aspect that the reason you have to have the certified mechanic work on this is because they're going to do a pressure test on it. So the pressure test is included in this figure.
That is correct, your Councillor.
And they're pretty sure of this estimate because I see what's left in the reserve doesn't leave a whole lot of wiggle room.
Yeah, they provided us with the estimate based on the knowledge that they have with the apparatus in front of them. So they're able to determine that with the apparatus there.
Okay, any other comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. Next up, Jameson Brown, Community Engagement and Economic Development Manager.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. This is in regards to the appointment of a new member to the Vegreville Tourism Advisory Board. I am proposing this on behalf of our tourism coordinator, Michelle Gladys. And in front of you, in terms of this request for council decision, is to appoint Odelia Rayavana-Rapu as a new member of the Vegreville Tourism Advisory Board. The background on this matter is that the Vegreville Tourism Advisory Board bylaw 032025 states that members must be appointed to the board by resolution of council. VTAB members have approved the application of Odelia Odelia Rayava Rapu. The board recommends the town council appoint Odelia for a 2-year term with the possibility of a 2-year extension. Should council go ahead with this recommendation, this appointment will follow a level 1 public engagement process. All appointees of the Vegreville Tourism Advisory Board will be notified directly via correspondence, and administration's recommendation is that town council appoint Odelia for a 2-year term effective July 21st, 2025, with the possibility of a 2-year extension.
Okay, thank you very much. Take a motion for the recommendation. Councillor Barry makes the motion. Any comments? Go ahead, Councillor Curtis.
Thank you very much. Manager Brown, I'm not sure who Odelia is. What category would we fit in here? Was it business? Is it a youth? Because I know we've been searching for a youth. Is it a member of town?
You know what, Counselor? I am going to have to get confirmation on that because I don't believe this is one of the members that we had the pleasure of meeting at the last VTAB meeting, and because we've broken for the summer at this point, I don't think I've had the pleasure either. So rather than give you the wrong information, I'm going to confer with our coordinator when she returns from holidays, and I'll get you that answer.
Very much. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Bullock.
Well, I don't know her as well, but I'd like to thank her for joining the board and actually volunteering, which we're so short of volunteers in our community. So happy to say that somebody's willing to put 2 years in on board. It's quite a special thing they're doing. Thank you.
Does this complete the board now?
I believe, Your Worship, we will be one short after this appointment.
What category would that be in?
Your Worship, you're putting me to the test. In my defense, it's been a busy stretch here for my department, so you'll have to forgive my ignorance. But I'd rather give you a cop out. I'll have to get back to you as opposed to not be able to give you the full story here. So I'm gonna have to get some confirmation.
Okay, Councillor Lemko.
Yes, Your Worship. Thanks, Manager Brown. I believe one of the volunteers we were looking for was a youth. And I'm not sure that if this Odelia is a youth or not. And I believe the other one was, if not mistaken, at-large member. So I look forward to working with Odelia. It may bring another perspective to the table, which is always nice.
Perfect. Okay, all those in favor of the recommendation? Carried. And on behalf of council, I'd like to thank Odelia too for letting her name go forward. Okay, Jameson, looks like you have another one here as well.
Well, the good news is I have a little bit more information on this one. This request for council decision is in regards to the publication and distribution of the Town of Vegreville's 2024 annual report. And while I am presenting it to you and proposing this, I do have to give full credit to our communications coordinator, Sabrina Curtis. She was the driving engine behind this year's edition of the 2024 annual report. And the proposal is to publish said report online at vegreville.com. Since 2019, the Town of Vegreville has released an annual report in the hopes of capturing department highlights, functions, and accomplishments of the preceding calendar year in an engaging manner. The annual report also includes an in-depth financial analysis to demonstrate the town's financial position and commitment to ongoing fiscal responsibility and transparency. To minimize printing costs, the 2024 annual report will be published online for public viewing at vegreville.com with the option for residents to request a printed copy by visiting the Town of Vegreville Administration Office. There are really no costs affiliated with this because, again, we will be publishing it online. And the communication strategy, should this recommendation go ahead, is that upon approval, the 2024 annual report will be communicated through a level 1 public engagement process by sharing the document on the Town of Vegreville website, and then, of course, links on social media. Recommendation is that Town Council approve the publication and distribution of the Town of Vegreville's 2024 annual report as presented and reviewed at the Legislative Committee meeting last Tuesday.
Okay, thank you very much. Look for a motion for the recommendation. Councillor Warwa. Any comments? Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that in reading through this and some of the recent ones we've received, they're very clear, very easy to follow, very professional looking, which is nice. I think that over the years, we've seen administration strive to help us along with the communication tools that go out to the public. And I know that you can't force people to read through these types of things, but I think that in fairness, they're there. The information is there and it's very clear, so I appreciate this getting out to them, so I think it's a good job.
Okay. Councillor Lemko.
Yes, an excellent read. It summarizes just how busy this community is, and all the facts and things that are in that report truly shows the community and the involvement this community has going on. A well done, well document to look over, and an easy read, and I think it's a super document.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Berry.
As I said the other day, kudos, 2 thumbs up.
Okay, again, very well put together document, and I encourage all the residents to either go online or come down to the office and ask for a print copy. And like Councillor Lemko says, there is a lot going on in all of the departments here. So, all those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next up, Director Lefebvre.
Thank you, Your Worship. The topic is development permit application, temporary tent structure. The background is Vegreville's direct control district is established to accommodate developments that, due to their unique characteristics, unusual site conditions, or innovative design, require tailored regulations not available within existing land use districts. Under the DC district, full authority over all aspects of the proposed development, including land use regulation and development conditions, rests solely with council. This allows for greater flexibility and site-specific decision-making. On July 2nd, 2025, Planning and Development received an application to construct a new temporary tent structure to replace an existing one at 5145 51st Ave. The proposed tent structure will be 10 by 20. The site plan is attached if you scroll up. Financial implication is NA and communication is NA. The options are for recommendation is being made that council approve the development permit application.
Thank you. Councillor Bullock, you'd like to make a motion for the recommendation?
Yes, I would.
Any comments?
I have. I think it's nice that we can work with residents in this way to show that we're a bit flexible with some of the things that can go on. And when people like this individual keep their place nice and neat and keep everything nice and looking good, makes it easier to make these types of decisions. So good to see it's going through.
Yes, and when it's under the DC direct control there's not a lot of options that people have to build in this, so you need a temporary structure to keep your vehicle free from snow and ice. It works. Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Next up, Director Saskew.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have a request for council decision for the 2025 tax sale and reserve bids. The proposal is to set the date and reserve bids for the 2025 tax sale. Properties that are in tax arrears for more than 2 years are placed on tax notification through the Land Titles Office. If the properties on tax notification remain in arrears on March 31st in the following year of notification, the municipality must offer these lands for sale by public auction before March 31st in the following year. This year, the town has 4 properties eligible for tax sale. The Municipal Government Act, Section 419, states that town council must set a date and reserve bid for each of these parcels as close as reasonably possible to the market value of the parcel and any conditions that are applicable to the sale. The reserve bids are recommended with consultation of Justin Goudreau, our town's assessor. Recommendation is that the 2025 tax sale be set for Wednesday, October 15th, 2025 in council chambers, and the reserve bids be set as follows. So you can see the 4 properties in the reserve bids. They are equal to their assessed value. And further, that the terms of the sale be cash, money order, or certified check at the time of sale.
Okay, thank you. Take a motion for the recommendation. Counselor Curtis makes the motion. Any comments? Okay. So only 4 this year.
Only 4 this year.
It's kind of nice.
And in historically, once we put these up for tax sale, we send notices, et cetera. In my experience, normally 1 or 2 of them does get paid prior to the tax sale date. So the citizens still have until the morning of tax sale to pay the taxes owing, and then they get taken off of tax sale.
No other comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next up, CAO Ling.
All right, thank you, Your Worship. The next request for council decision is the Vegreville Regional Museum deaccessioning report and transfer to reserve. So a comprehensive final report has been drafted detailing the 2024 museum deaccessioning process. This report outlines the distribution of artifacts to the town of Vegreville organizations and Alberta museums, the auction process for all remaining museum objects, and an overview of the revenue from said auction sale. At the July 15th Legislative Committee meeting, consensus of council was in favor of transferring the revenue from unaccessioned items, display cases, office supplies, etc., to the town of Vegreville's general reserve. The remaining revenue from all accessioned items, museum artifacts, will remain in the existing project card. This project card will be used to support the restoration of the previous museum grounds and buildings, restoration and maintenance of artifacts which remain within the town of Vegreville, and creation of new displays for remaining machinery in different areas of town. The final report has been updated to reflect council's decision regarding the final revenue allocations. So the financial implications, the current balance of the museum deaccessioning project card is $62,022.66. Approximately 28%, $17,366 of the balance was derived from unaccessioned items. This revenue will be transferred with general reserves. This leaves 72%, $44,656 of the balance derived from the sale of accessioned items remaining in the project card to be used on artifact restoration and preservation projects. The communication strategy is the final report will be shared by a level 1 public engagement process. A copy of the report will be made available on the Town of Vegreville's website, and printed copies can be made available at the town office upon request. So the recommendation before council is that town council accepts the Vegreville Regional Museum deaccessioning report as presented, and further, town council approve the transfer of $17,366 from the museum deaccessioning project card to general reserves, leaving $44,656 to be allocated for artifact restoration and preservation projects.
Okay. Take a motion for the recommendation. Councillor Berry, I would have made the motion myself, but I'm not in that role. Okay, any comments? I know you'd like to talk about...
Yes, Your Worship. It should be pointed out that this is a document that is prepared by and presented by the deaccessioning committee. It's not a document that's prepared and presented from corporate services. So the aspect is this is a story of what took place to deaccession the museum. It's not a final accounting of all of the processes. What is listed in this document is the net revenue that was gained through the sale by auction. Most of the so it's correct figures that are in here for that purpose. Any further documentation of expenses attributed to this would be in the annual reports from corporate service in the audited information and annual report. I think I want to also point out that involvement of staff and costs were kept to a minimum because most of it was done through volunteers. The aspect is that not only myself was involved in volunteering out there to take care of it, but curators from the other museums, particularly the Alberta Museum, came through and did a lot of work themselves in terms of selecting and looking at the materials that were suitable for other museums. I would also like to thank members of the Agricultural Society who came over, who had a lot of family history and were able to take a look and provide information on items that would be appropriately kept within the town, and they kept a lot of them. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Lorraine Gabelhaus, the former curator, who volunteered to come in on several occasions to work with the curators from other museums, and she also provided a tremendous amount of help to myself in terms of sorting, looking through, and working on getting everything organized and prepared for the auction. So I think that this is a report by the deaccessioning committee in order to try and provide the information as to the processes and what took place during it. And it's that's the purpose of doing it, is to be accountable and transparent as to how the items were deaccessioned. And this is only the revenue that came through auction of those items that were not taken by other museums. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other comments on this final report? Okay, well, I'll pick this up. Well, thank you for your group. I guess there was members of the staff here and yourself that worked very hard, and those that volunteered there. You know, the report is very transparent to see exactly where everything went, everything that was documented, the different museums, and what was sold and where the money will be used. And I do like the part at the end where it shows over the last 12 years that $1,161,586 of taxpayers' money were poured into that facility, and again, it just goes to show that it wasn't a very sustainable type operation. And I know that you, Councillor Berry, and the group that you worked very hard to be as respectful as you can. And Leslie, thank you so much for putting this document together, and this is available to the public now? It will be after. Okay, thank you. Okay, all those in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, let's move on to land use bylaw. Director Lefebvre.
Thank you, Your Worship. The topic is amending land use bylaw 11/2019 for rezoning. The background is planning and development received the rezoning application on June 15th, 2025 to rezone 3 vacant properties from general commercial district, a C2, to medium density residential district, an R3. Since 1995, all 3 parcels have sat vacant within the downtown core, which is within walking distances to all amenities. The applicant is hopeful that rezoning will help support the growth within the town of Vegreville, creating areas within the town that promote medium density and more affordable housing options for Vegreville residents. Financial, the rezoning fee of $700 has been received from the applicant. Communication strategy, involve, consult, collaborate. After a successful first reading, advertising will be set for 2 consecutive weeks online and in the local paper. A public hearing will then be scheduled for August 18th, 2025, with the opportunity for second and third reading to be held on the August 18th, 2025 at this scheduled regular council meeting. Options are, recommendation is being made that town council approve the process to proceed.
Okay, thank you.
And just for our public, the viewing public, this location is on the northwest corner of 49th Street, 40th Avenue, or more known probably as just west across 49th Street from the Valid's main office.
Yep. So sort of behind the doctor's office, down that road there.
Yep.
Okay. Take a motion for the recommendation. We need to go to first reading though on this.
Yeah, at this year, it's a motion for first reading.
Okay. Do we have to go through the whereas, there, and now therefore, and,
With the memo attached, you probably don't need to go through the bylaw.
okay. So the motion will be for first reading on this bylaw change. Okay, Counselor Bullock makes the motion. Any comments? Go ahead, Counselor Bullock.
More of a question to Director Lefebvre. Could you tell the public what type of building could be built under medium residential district R3? What's the maximum size that can be built?
An R3 district is for ground-orientated dwellings. And that can be multiple units for people to live in one structure. The stipulation is that they each have individual access from the outside of the building. So it's not an apartment where the access to all of the units are from inside the corridor or hallways. The access in R3 has to be on the outside, each their own access.
Thank you.
And just for those that are listening, and there is parking requirements no matter what they build, and those are all controlled by planning and development as the process moves forward, and whatever they propose, and then we have to look at the requirements for that type of structure, and do they have it on their site, so. Okay, so go ahead, Councillor Lemko.
Yeah, I think any development on 3 residential or 3 lots in close proximity to town that have been vacant for 30 years is a welcoming thing. In any infill lots that we can see some residential spots there, I think it's a good timing right now.
Okay, so we're July 21st, 2025, and we have a motion for the first reading for this new bylaw. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. And we now have appointment of a municipal assessor bylaw. Are you taking that one, Directors? Oh,
No, I will take it.
okay, thank you.
Okay, so this one we will go through the whereas, but it's a short bylaw. So bylaw number 09/2025. This bylaw 09/2025 of the town of Vegreville in the province of Alberta for the purpose of appointment of a municipal assessor as a designated officer for the town of Vegreville. Whereas Section 210 of the Municipal Government Act and the council of the town of Vegreville may pass bylaws to establish one or more positions to carry out the powers, duties, and functions of a designated officer. And whereas Section 284.2 of the Municipal Government Act requires that a municipal assessor be appointed as a designated officer of the municipality. Now therefore, the town, the town of Vegreville duly assembled enacts the following. This bylaw may be cited as the appointment of the municipal assessor bylaw. On definitions, municipal assessor means a person who has the qualifications set out in the Municipal Government Act, qualifications of an assessor regulation 233 2005 as amended, and is appointed by the municipality by bylaw to the position of designated officer to carry out the duties and responsibilities of a municipal assessor under the Municipal Government Act. Designated officer means a person designated pursuant to Section 2.1 herein. A contractor means an independent party to the town of Vegreville serving under a contract to provide municipal assessment services and shall not be deemed to be an employee of the town of Vegreville. The designated officer position, that the position of municipal assessor as a designated officer for the town of Vegreville is hereby established. And appointment of the assessor, that Bob Duladin be appointed as a designated officer for the purpose to carry out the duties and responsibility of the municipal assessor for the town of Vegreville. We're repealing that bylaw 01/2023 be repealed, and that the effective date of this bylaw shall come in effect upon the third and final reading.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll take a motion for the first reading of this bylaw. Councillor Lemko makes the motion. Any comments? Go right ahead, Councillor Worrell.
Obviously, we do go through this process repeatedly when we are approving or appointing our assessor, so it is standard practice to have to repeal and then put forward the new bylaw. But I also think that it coming forward is very reflective of the administration hearing the request of council to really look at our processes and make some changes. And so I appreciate the work that was done to bring us to this point. I know it's always difficult anytime there are changes and it makes some extra burden, but I think that it will be good in the long run for the town.
Thank you. Councillor Barry.
Thank you, Worship. Yes, and the fact that our current agreements are basically expiring, I think this is a great opportunity to come in and get a new ground zero, if you want to say that, on the assessments across the town. The town's developing very quickly right now, and I think that now's a good time to get a total fresh look at assessments, and hopefully with all of the expansion, things will be improving over time here.
Okay, thank you. So just so everybody knows, this is standard procedure. We are switching the assessors for the town of Vegreville. And what will happen is with this new assessor coming in, there will be a lot of work that's going to be done, and there will be all kinds of new people in town looking at properties. And one of the things that we have very frustrated over the last few years was the lack of the assessment going up in our community. The only time we seen assessment going up was when a house was sold and they tried to capture the full retail cost and not associating that with other properties in the neighborhood. So you, as a non-res, commercial buildings and stuff, you will be contacted by the new assessor. Residential will be contacted, a few on each block will be contacted. This does not mean your taxes are going up. What did we collect last year in taxes, Director Saskew? If you could just tell us exactly how this process will go.
Okay, so what we collected was about $10 million for the town itself, $12 million if you include the requisitions, which is for the education and Minburn Lodge, et cetera. One thing to be clarified in relation to non-residential is they send out letters, and those letters go to every single non-residential role. What they are income verification. What they are only interested in is if you are an owner who is renting out the premise as to another tenant. So they don't care how many hamburgers you've sold or how many widgets you've sold. They aren't interested in any income that's related to actually you owning and operating your business. They are only looking at what rental income. So if you have a business where you own and operate most of it and you rent one bay out, they are asking for in that letter the income that you get from the bay and any expenses that are directly related to the bay. So if you're paying insurance specifically for that one bay, or you have any kind of other like utilities, et cetera, that you can split out for that one bay, that is the info they're looking at. They're not asking, so sometimes you get the papers, even when I first read it, I was like, oh, they want to know everyone's income. It has nothing to do with your income from your business. So if you own and operate out of your building as a non-res, all you have to do is please click on the survey, because they'll send it out, then they'll send out a reminder. But if you click into the survey, one of the first questions is owner operator doesn't apply. So if you own your business and you operate out of it and you don't have any rental income, you're done. So that's all they're asking, is that we have some public information about The non-residential, like you said, when you get the letter, it can seem scary, like, oh, they want to know what my income is. It has nothing to do with actual income that you derive from the property unless you're renting it. So I just want to be clear with that.
Exactly. So what we've seen with our previous assessor and assessment, we've seen properties that were assessed at the same price for 20 years. When we know for full well that those assessments were nowhere near what the assessment should be, let alone close to what the retail price was. We've seen people that couldn't sell their houses because the bank wouldn't finance the buyer because the assessment was so low in the house. So if we collected $10 million last year in tax, and we got to collect $10 million again this year. So this is not going to change the tax schedule itself. What we're going to do is start getting a more fair assessment of all the properties in our community. So those of you that may be running out there right now saying, the assessor phoned me, they want to raise my taxes. What will happen is we'll still collect the same amount of taxes. The mill rate should go down based on a fair assessment of what your property is worth. The assessment's never going to be the full retail, but we've seen individual properties that have sold in the last couple of years at a lot higher rate than their assessment, and their assessment went close to what the retail value was, and they were overcharged. So hopefully during the next year, we should have 100% reassessment of res and non-res within our community. Don't be afraid. This is not us trying to grab more tax money. It's just everybody's assessment needs to be looked at to be fair. Go ahead, Councillor Warwa.
I guess I would just say that I'm almost excited about this process. The number one thing that people have called me about when they've called about taxes is typically somebody has just sold a property and then gotten very shocked by the next tax that comes in. And a lot of people don't realize that we don't have the ability to lower a mill rate for one person. The mill rate has to be set standardly along that category. And in fairness, we can't even say, well, the other side was, an automatic appeal and reduce your assessment because the assessment was fair. But we were being handcuffed as a town because unless we do this full assessment, we can't bring down that mill rate. So I think for myself personally, I'm excited about it because this is probably 90% or more of the calls that I got can be cured when this process is done.
Exactly. So if you have a problem with the assessor in your neighborhood, call Councillor Warwa.
Thank you.
And again, this is a process that's been long overdue, and we understand that people say, "Well, look at your mill rate." Well, the mill rate was where it was at, based on, again, the assessment. And if a house in 20 years in this community has not changed, the assessment has not changed, then we feel that we were lacking. Somebody wasn't doing their job. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, all those in favor? Carried. I'll take a motion for the second reading. Councillor Curtis makes the motion. All those in favor? Carried. I'll need a motion for unanimous consent, and that's usually Councillor Barry's role. All those in favor? Carried. And I'll need a motion for a third and final reading. You could. Councillor Lemko makes that motion. All those in favor? Carried. You can do two. Okay, thank you very much for that. I think we're done with that. Councillor reports. Start with Councillor Warwa.
Right. So I don't have a whole lot. A few of my committees were gone over the summer, a little bit of a break. So I just have the July 8th, we had another chamber meeting. As you can imagine right now, most of our discussion is centered around the 50th anniversary that was this weekend.
That will be this weekend.
Yes.
That
It will
was.
be this weekend.
Yeah.
I know, yeah, it's not in the past tense yet, and we're gonna cross our fingers for really good weather for this. And I actually have another meeting this week, just as one final kind of setup and knowing who's coming out. So just reminding everybody to make your way, and I think it's gonna be a really good event. So super excited about that. And actually, other than that, I only had the council workshop on the 15th, followed by the ledge meeting and tonight's council meeting.
What time does the 50th anniversary kick off?
Well, it depends whether you're going early for the breakfast, but I would say no matter what, try and be there by 11 o'clock so that you, I actually would recommend, even if you're not coming for the breakfast, to have people come a little bit earlier because there is some parking. There's not going to be a lot of on-site parking. It's the only on-site will be some in regards to handicap parking. Other than that, people will be getting shuttles across. So give yourself a little bit of time so that you're all set up and ready to go and prepare for a full day. There'll be lots of activities going on, food trucks, some markets going on, as well as entertainment through. And from the last meeting that I was at, the ceremonies themselves will not be that long. Everything will be pretty short, but I think it'll be a nice day.
Is the king coming?
No, the king is not coming. But I can actually tell you that request was sent in, just, on the off chance. But no, the king will not be there, but that shouldn't stop anybody from coming. And in fact, for some people, it might encourage them to come more.
Well, it's too bad his mom could make it, but he could.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Councillor Barry.
Thank you, Worship. Yes, my schedule's been quite light as well, with most things being put off for the summer. Although on June 24th, we did have a VARC meeting, which is the new term for the Vegreville Attraction Retention Committee. And it was a good committee. We finalized the work on it. We're looking at a new logo, and I think we've selected one. And we'll be looking at getting, in the very near future, a little bit more of a launch to the community. And we'll be looking for new membership as well. So on July the 1st, I spent a little bit of time walking around in Canada Day, the party in the park. It looked like it was well attended. The color race was very entertaining. And I thought the entertainment was pretty good too. Then on July 15th, I didn't change the dates, July 15th, council workshop, July 15th, ledge committee, and tonight's regular council meeting. I'm a month
Did you
behind.
participate in the color run?
No, I did not.
Was there a station near your house? Was there any colors on your sidewalk?
Not on mine, but my daughter did volunteer, and yes, by the time she was the last station for color, and by the time they come by, it was very interesting because a lot of them were just saying, I don't have any green. Can you give me some yellow? And they were accommodated. They got a full shot. It was very colorful.
Thank you very much. Councillor Lemko.
Thank you, Your Worship. I also attended the Canada Day in the park, and I unfortunately participated in the color run. And I can tell you that I had every color on me, and my grandchildren also had every color on them, and I still have colors in our car. That stuff doesn't come out. But it was a great event. Lots of people. It was enjoyable to be there, and no rain, so which is very nice. July 2nd, I attended the Cultural Association meeting in preparation for the festival, upcoming festival. And July 3rd, I was fortunate enough to meet with the APNA senior group out of Millwoods. They had an outing. They brought well over 100 people to our community hall and enjoyed our community. And I was fortunate enough to be there with His Worship, and we had a good meeting with the senior group. And I was very fortunate to find out how spicy some of their food is. So that was nice to see them come to our community and share some time. July 4th and 6th, I volunteered and worked at the Pasanka Festival for the weekend. And it was nice to see the amount of people that were in our community that traveled into our community from all over. There's people from Manitoba and BC, and even people from the United States. We had a group performing on our grandstand show that came all the way from Chicago to perform. Over 200 camping stalls, which brings a lot of people to our community and probably a lot of money spent. All the hotels were booked. July 10th, I attended the MD Minburn Foundation meeting. Same day, we had the Minburn Foundation Building Committee meeting. And we did get word from our government on we were unsuccessful in our grant for funding for this go-round. We'll continue to work preparing our blueprints and all we need to do for submission for the next opportunity for funding. Although money is tight, and there was 136 projects that requested funding, and we were unfortunately first time in. You're not going to. Most of the time you don't get, but we're looking forward to the next time. July 11th, I attended the Iron Runners Car Club, the proclamation presentation. I was fortunate enough to be there with Councillor Bullock as the deputy mayor, and we were able to see some cars and stuff. So, nice evening. July 15th, the council workshop. Also, the ledge meeting. This afternoon, I sat in on a Alberta Association, the ASA, I'll call it that, a Zoom call, and they resurrected that committee. But it's now not only for the Ukrainian newcomers, but it's for all newcomers to Alberta. So there's some resources that they are putting together, and we were able to sit in on that. I do have a question for administration. Do we still have a newcomers committee or any kind of contact for newcomers that are coming to the community for any kind of information as they arrive and establish themselves in town?
Outside of the Vegreville and Area Stands with Ukraine committee, I'm not exactly sure if there's a formal one. FCSS would be able to direct appropriately.
And the reason I asked that question is on the call today, there's a gentleman from Smoky Lake, and he was hired by the town of Smoky Lake as the newcomers representative. And he mentioned that he was hired through a grant that the town received from the Alberta government for newcomers, as they're seeing an influx of Ukrainian newcomers, and this gentleman himself was a newcomer. And so he was talking about the newcomers and they do everything, languages, it's education, English, and that was his role to set up all that stuff. So, and that's why I asked the question. Also, today, the ICF meeting and tonight's council meeting. So it's been a light month for me.
So you're sort of talking like a welcome wagon committee, or?
Yeah, he was talking about the availability of having language for services, the ability to meet them and discuss their needs, and the building of portals for newcomers to access resources, programs, and and just all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to call him on the sidebar, as I told him I would. And he said, yeah, to talk about what his role really is. And I did spend a bit of time in the grant application process to have a look at what it was. And it sure would help the newcomers, absolutely. And so I'm excited to see what's out there. And
Well, thank you very much. Councillor Bullock.
Thank you, Your Worship. On July 5th, I attended the Vegreville Pesca Festival party at night, I call it. So I worked the door there and got to watch everybody have a whole lot of fun, some extra competition on the floor, and some creative ways of some alcohol trying to leave and enter the building. So anyways, it was quite fun evening there, and it was great to see the volunteers out there. Our bylaw enforcement was out there tonight. An uneventful evening for anything trouble, let's say, happening. It was uneventful and just a good time for everybody. On July 11th, Councillor Lemko and myself, on behalf of the Mayor, Mr. McVie here, we're at the Collector Car Appreciation Day proclamation, where the gracious hosts of the Motor House welcomed the Vegreville Iron Runners. And we had the proclamation there, and the Iron Runners then proceed to do inspections on their vehicle, their once-a-year inspection. They're all part of this club, which advocates for the collector car hobby across Canada and U.S., which protects the hobby from certain things that are detrimental to that hobby. So, which was a really good time. July 15th, council workshop. July 15th, our ledge meeting. Today's intermunicipal committee meeting, and tonight's council meeting. Well, that's a wrap for me.
Thank you very much. Councillor Curtis.
Thank you. July 1st, I did some volunteering at the Canada Day party in the park, so I helped get registrants in, including Councillor Lemko, for the color run. I believe Mr. Jameson Brown around 215-ish, maybe 230 participants. It was the highest one yet, I believe.
I think it might have actually been higher than that. But yes, certainly the highest run in terms of pre-registrants and then registrants at the table day of, which was a surprise considering it was a Monday and people had to go back to work.
At the table, which definitely upped the amount. So that was good to see. Got to hand out medals to everybody as they crossed the finish line. And then everybody's favorite, I did bingo as well. So I tried to put on a good bingo. We didn't do the full card this year, which I was appreciative of. So we got out of there a little bit quicker, got the band back on, so that was nice. But it was a fun day. And yeah, food trucks and ice cream and bouncy castles, the whole thing, it was good. There was tons of people. And actually the band that was there, Rockzilla, the way the sound system was set up, the people on the far end at the golf, the mini golf and the bouncy castles, it sounded like the rock concert was right there. So the parents were rocking out, the kids were bouncing, and then if you were right beside it, it was like you were right in the building. So it was pretty good. I thought it was good. July 5th, I also attended the Pisanga Festival, not in the same manner as Councillor Bullock. I was more mingling in the crowd and hanging out, but it was a fun time, very busy in there as well. July 15th, council workshop, and then the ledge meeting after that, and then the intermunicipal committee meeting before the council meeting today.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Oh, I didn't get to go. I didn't get to go to that.
Okay, so on June the 25th, I had a meeting with Provectus and the Alberta Indigenous Opportunity Corporation, and we talked with one of the directors there about some funding for a project that we're looking at for our community here. Also on the 25th, I attended the Alberta Hub meeting in Vermilion at Lakeland College. It was a very nice meeting. It's nice. I don't know if you guys have ever been in the meeting facility and stuff there, but it was amazing to see how many different countries were represented with students there. They had their largest graduation in the history of the college they had this year, and they have students from all the provinces and territories other than two. Yeah, there's a lot going on there, and it was the AGM of Alberta Hub. On the 26th, I was lucky enough to get asked to Dr. Jan Salaski's retirement party at Innotech, and it was a very nice party out there. got to have a few chuckles, that's for sure, and they asked me to do the emceeing. They probably will never ask again. And then on June the 30th, I had another meeting with John from Provectus. On July 1st, Canada Day party in the park. Wow, what a great job, the organization crew there, all the volunteers, and you know, it was nice to see something like that happening in town and how many people participated, and I got to watch the fireworks from my backyard. I kept my mother-in-law up late enough that she could see them too, so it was good. On the 3rd, I had the luncheon with Millwoods Muslim Association with Councillor Lebko. They were a little late getting there, and it was amazing. There was over 100 people. Most of them were retired professionals and their wives, and oh my God. These people got a lot going on. They go on tours all the time, and they liked Vegreville, and I got 2 bouquets of roses. It was pretty darn good when I got home. I was like, wow, I'm gonna need a couple of vases. But it was really nice to meet with them, and I'm sure that they'll be back again. And I had a meeting that started at 1:30, and they were late getting to the social center, and so I said, I apologize, I have to leave. I need to get on this meeting with the minister, and luckily they all get up to shake my hand, all 100 of them at the door. Yeah, it was great. So I did go home. We had to do a Zoom meeting with Minister Ellis, the police funding model review, which was just a polite way to say that if you're in the 30% pay right now, it's about to go up. The municipalities that are under 5,000, yeah, they capped it in COVID times. So right now, if they were to pay at 37%, 30% that they were trying to get to, it would actually look like 57% right now. So it was very interesting. So, and then on the 4th, opening ceremonies at the Pasanka Days, and it was a great turnout. And you know, I talked in my presentation about what it means to our community and how other elected officials and other people come to our community and ask, how do you do with that, the volunteers, with all the stuff that happens in this community, and something we should all be proud of. And how, you know, I've been on other parts of the world, and people have come up to me and said that they've attended this festival and stuff, and so it's. And I also talked about how the vibe in our community changes. You don't really, for years I couldn't understand like why in town what changes, but you know you're going to see somebody you haven't seen for years. Family members that left, raised their family, or their youth come home. They like to come home and spend, you know, they're off getting a post-secondary. I'm not saying they get any smarter when they come back, because they're still phoning at 2 a.m. for a ride. But if you drive around town, you look, it seems like an extra vehicle in every third driveway, and you know, just a different vibe in town, and you know, and it's great for our community, and you know, the businesses in town, and good on all the volunteers and stuff that they bring in. But it's just how the vibe changes in town. It's pretty cool, actually. On the 7th, I had a Teams meeting with the John S. Patuque Water Commission. On the 9th, we had a meeting with Ashkey Hemp. And the 10th was the Mid-Sized Towns Mayor's Caucus. There's got some action going there with the ministers and stuff about the aging infrastructure and all the 83 towns that we have that are over a population of 5,000, and how we're going to need some help. And this is what they're pushing for. On the 10th, I had a regular meeting with the John S. Patuque in Bruderheim. On the 14th, another Teams meeting. We are getting into a legal situation where it's a good thing. We've been pushing for it for a few years, so we're just finishing up our presentation. And then July the 15th, our council workshop, the 15th, also the ledge, and then today's intermunicipal committee meetings and tonight's town council meeting. So yeah, so there's been a lot going on. At this time, is there any other business of council? Is there anything I missed this time, Leslie? Not today, not yet. Okay, so we do have one closed session item. And so at this time, I'll take a motion to go into closed session. Counselor Bullock makes the motion. All those in favor? Carried.